Hello students. So today under physics we are going to do revision on two chapters that is for midterm examination. One is force and pressure and another one is friction. First is whenever we are saying force and pressure, what is force now? Force is considered as either it is a push or a pull. So next is what is the SI unit of force? SI unit of force is Newton, that we are going to represent by N here. And there are two types of forces. What are the two types of forces? One is contact force, another one is non-contact force. What are the contact forces? Means forces which acts on a body either directly or through a medium are called it as the contact force. So example for a contact force is muscular force and as well as the frictional force. That means contact force means when the two objects or two bodies must be directly or through a medium they should be in contact. That type of force is called as contact force. Next is explain muscular force with example. Muscular force is a contact force. So force caused by the action of muscles in our body. So lifting of a bucket or carrying a bag, all are the example for a muscular force. Where our body and that object, that is lifting of bucket means our arms and as well as bucket will be in contact with each other. Then that type of force is called as muscular force. Next is explain frictional force with example. What is the next force is frictional force. A force that opposes the motion. The motion of an object is called the frictional force. That means a ball will be moving. If as example a ball is moving in this direction, after some time that ball will stop moving. Why that ball will stop moving? Because of the frictional force which will be acting in opposite direction to the direction of the motion. Because of that the ball will stops. Next is what are non-contact forces. So non-contact force means force which acts through the space without making direct contact with the body. No contact between the body will be there. Then also there is some type of force acts. That type of force is called as non-contact force. Examples are magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. Magnetic force means when a magnet is kept and a magnetic property material, for example an iron nail is kept near to it, without being contact also they will attract it. That is called example for a magnetic force. Electrostatic force means by charging from one or the transfer of charges from one body to another body is called electrostatic force. Next is gravitational force. That means whenever you throw a ball upside, that means due to gravitation that ball will comes to downwards. That is the attraction or the contact that will be between the force between the gravitation or the ground and the object is called it as the gravitational force. So next is very important, what is inertia? Inertia is nothing but the tendency of an object to remain at a rest or in a motion when no force acts on it. When there is no force acting on that object will remain in either in a rest position or in a motion position. That type of force or that type of capacity of that object is called it as the inertia. Next is what are the types of inertia. So there are three types of inertia are there. One is inertia of rest, another one is inertia of motion, another one is inertia of direction. Next, what are the examples for an inertia? So leaves of a tree fell when suddenly it is shaken. When you shake the tree, that objects will be in rest position. When you shake the tree, then that from rest position it is going to change to motion position. That is an example for inertia. Next is about what is the difference between balanced force and as well as unbalanced force. Balanced force means the effect of force cannot be observed. That means if any object is present means then there is no change in state of motion. That type of force is called balanced force. Unbalanced force means the effect of force can be observed. So if you are applying the force on that object means then if it is moving means then you can say the effect of force can be observed. If it is not moving means the effect of force cannot be observed. Next is no change in speed or direction of motion. The object will not move, that is speed will not change, or the direction of motion will not change in the case of balanced force. Next is same thing with the unbalanced force, change in the speed or direction of motion. There will be a change in speed or the motion of an object takes place. Next is acts when forces are opposite to each other. Only when two forces are acting on an object in opposite direction, then only we are going to say that type of force as balanced force. Next, unbalanced force acts when force is same or in an opposite direction. That means whenever you are saying an unbalanced force, mean one force is greater, another one force is smaller. Which one force is greater, in that direction that object will move. Which force is lesser, in that direction that object will not move. Next is pressure. Define pressure. Force acting per unit surface area, it is called as a pressure here. Any of the surface on which we are applying the force, that type of is called as pressure here. SI unit of pressure is Pascal. PA you are going to represent. Next, pressure not only exists on a solid liquid, but also it exists on a gases also. In all these different states of matter, the pressure will be exerting. So now next question is, how do fluids exert pressure? Fluid exert pressure in all direction. Fluid is also exert pressure on the walls of the container that hold them. So fluid, fluid means if you consider a liquid in a container, in that container the pressure will be exerting in all the direction of the container, even on the walls of the container in which it can hold them. So fluid in general we can say it exerts pressure in all the direction, including the walls of the container. So based on that, one problem is there. A force of 100 Newton is applied on an area of 4 meters square. Compute the pressure being applied on the area. So you have to find out the pressure here. Since pressure is nothing but force divided by area. So force is 100 Newton. Area is 4 meters square. So that is force 100 divided by 4. You will get it as 25 Pascal. You have to write this SI unit because this is very important. That is the SI unit of the pressure. Next question is, list the characteristics of pressure exerted by a liquid. Only we are saying about the liquid, which is the characteristics of pressure which is exerting on the liquid. Liquid exert pressure in all directions. This is the very important one. It exerts pressure in all the directions. Pressure in liquid does not depend on shape, size and surface area of the container. Any of the container, if you consider, this pressure in the liquid does not depend upon what shape it is or in what size it is or what is the surface area of the container. Whatever may be, the pressure will be exerting in all the directions. Next point is, pressure increases with the depth. Next is, all points at the same level in the liquid are at the same pressure. So when you consider a bottle and two sides of the bottle, if you make a points, if you make a hole on that at the same level from the downwards, then at the same pressure from the both side the water will comes down with the same pressure. Pressure does not depend on surface of immersed object. So these are the characteristics of pressure exerting on the liquids. Next question is, we know that there is huge amount of atmospheric pressure on us, but we do not experience its effect. Why? Why we do not experience its pressure? The pressure of air inside our body will also having some pressure, and air, that is atmosphere which is present outside us, will also be having the pressure in that. So the pressure of our body, the pressure in our body is same as that of the atmosphere. Whatever the pressure that atmosphere is given, that same pressure that will be in our body also. Therefore, we do not experience its effect. So if I consider our body is also producing the pressure, atmosphere is also producing the pressure. These two pressure will balance each other. Because of that, we are not able to experience any pressure on us. Next question is, Why do sea divers wear specially designed suits? Why they asked to you wear that specially designed suits for the swimming? So since the pressure of liquid increases with increasing the depth of the sea, when you go in deep into the sea, the pressure of the liquid will be increasing. So specially designed suits protect divers from the huge pressure of the water underneath. When you go in deep into the sea, the more will be pressure will be there. To overcome that pressure, there will be wearing the specially designed suits. Next is fill in the blanks. So to draw water from a well, we have to dash at the rope. So what we have to do, we have to draw water from the wall, we have to pull the rope so that water will comes upside. That is the pull is the answer here. A charged body dash an uncharged body towards it. Charged body attracts an uncharged body. This is an example which you can give for electrostatic force. Next is to move a loaded trolley, we have to push or pull it, isn't it? We have to apply a force on it to move a loaded trolley. We have to apply a force means we have to either push or we have to pull it. Next is the north pole of a magnet dash the north pole of another one magnet. One is north pole is there, another one north pole is there. North and north pole if they are there. So for example, this is a magnet is there, another one north pole I will consider. North and north pole if it is come near to it, they will repel each other. Or example, if there is a question, one is north pole is there, another one is south pole is there. North and south pole will attract each other. So this is about the revision on the first chapter, that is force and pressure. Thank you.